Hey, everybody, welcome to Speedy Beardy and the Mole podcast. I'm Rutledge Wood.
I'm Tanner Faust.
And I'm Adam Ferrara. He always wants to get ahead of me to friggin' race car.
Always. He's so fast, so competitive, right? This is where we hang out. We talk about all sorts of fun stuff that's going on with cars. A lot of y'all remember us. We used to do a TV show together called Top Gear US on the History Channel. And now we're just three knuckleheads that still love cars and each other. And that's what brought us here. Adam,
yes.
What are we going to talk about today?
I want to talk about the new Ford Bronco. It's coming back, and I'm very happy about it. And the one thing that's about the Bronco, I think it's just as surprised as we are that it's here. Look at the headlights. Look at the front grille. Just like
it
does look surprised.
I'm back.
When they announced this, I think you guys were probably the same as me. Oh, they're going to bring the Bronco back. I bet they are. Yeah, that sounds great. They're never going to do it. They just made the Mustang an electric car. Yeah, they'll bring it back. And then they rolled one out, and I think we were all like, oh, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Have you seen them in person?
I've not seen one in person yet. Have you?
I have. I went to the Moab 4x4 Expo. It was the first annual event put on by some local Moabians, and it was an awesome event. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's
Frank Moabian, the mayor. I met him.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous. It's good looking truck. They had an electric version out there and a bunch of aftermarket built up versions. It's really a Jeep Expo. So the Jeep really dominated, but the Broncos, they're out there. They're quite a bit more expensive. I mean, frankly, all those things are expensive now. Jeeps are 45, 50 grand before you even modify them. So, there's a lot of money spent on that off-road leisure world, but man, it is freaking gorgeous and fun.
And you can still get with a manual if you get.
And let's give them a little bit of a rundown because here's the weird thing. They're coming out with the Bronco, but they're actually coming out with two very different kinds of Broncos. And a lot of people remember when Chevy came out with the Blazer a few years ago. Don't worry, there's half of a Bronco that you will be disappointed in, just like the Chevy Blazer, because it's terrible. But the other half of the Bronco offering is a two-door or a four-door, like the one pictured right there. Then there's this other one, which is kind of like an Explorer Sport sort of a replacement. So that Bronco, just for the record, we're not talking about it. It's not important, and I don't know why they're calling it the Bronco. At least that's how I feel. I don't know if you two feel differently. That one pictured right there is legit. That's going to be cool.
That's the one and it's got a bunch of aftermarket parts because they want you to be able to just modify it any way you want. And it's got a see-through door. Look at that.
Which is pretty cool because that way, Tanner, that's all about kind of being able to spot your rocks, your ledges, things like that, right? So they actually intend for people to go out and use these. It'll be a real big competitor to the Wrangler, I think.
Yeah. Tanner, if you do drive one with a see-through door, please don't wear a skirt.
Ever again.
Yeah.
No, it's now I don't know if it's a panel that you can like remove, so it's like an open door. Probably not.
Well, you can remove the doors. The doors actually fit in the back, so you don't have to leave it at the trailhead. You can bring the doors with you.
Awesome.
You can remove the roof. You actually can remove the fender flares. They can come off as well. Just to get. I don't see any rock rails on there. On that,
it's like a Lego. It's like a Lego Bronco is what you're saying. That's cool.
You want to
be honest? I mean, I've been actually in the market for a Jeep. I don't know why. You've seen a million Jeeps on the road, and I never even thought twice about it. But for whatever reason, I think it's just because I've been playing in the desert a lot more lately. Been out with like Polaris RZR shredding around, and there's a lot of trails that are a little more Jeep friendly. They're more like rock crawling instead of going fast.
Mm-hmm.
And because of current times and whatever, a used Jeep is like the same, sometimes even more than a new Jeep. And here's another fun fact. The automatics really are preferred in the off-roading world. Just like that lowered one. Gosh, where did you find that? I love the exhaust pipes, though.
the Bosu style, yeah.
Purple pickle. But that's like the used ones, are insanely expensive. Automatics are preferred over manual, which I wanted a manual because I wanted to teach my daughter, be able to take her up in the mountains and go off-roading with a manual with her. But they're coming out with a V8 now. I think it's a 392.
Yeah, 392 is going to make it finally a V8 from the factory. A lot of people have been swapping them out when that 6 dies, but that's a big jump in power for them.
And weight, though, too. Doesn't it mess with the weight?
It'll be heavier, but I mean, if your foot's in it, I don't know if you'll notice.
And they'll throw so much stuff on the roof and everything anyway. The things are heavy. But the stuff, and like in Moab, for example, where it's all basically just sandstone and crazy grip, the stuff that just a stock Jeep can climb up is absolutely mind-blowing. And there's so many cool places. I mean, even living in LA, like near here, where you can just go up on ridges and have crazy overlooks. Like, I think this is probably like a really growing part of the market. I know Jeep does really well, and it's an amazing brand, and I'm sure the Bronco's gonna crush. But this whole like being able to take yourself out somewhere, put a tent on the roof, and
just go.
Just overland. I think the overlanding thing, especially in this country, we have so much space. It's an awesome part of the industry I never had any access to.
Yeah, but I even when you do drive a Jeep, when you see them here on the streets and everything, you still have to be careful. If I remember correctly, you high-centered a Jeep on a staircase.
They're not great on the road. And that technically, was that a Jeep? That was one of those.
It said trail rated on the
rated on it.
I think that means it has a good turning radius. Like
I think it means they just had an extra badge, to be honest with you.
I just remember the concept, right? Oh, you're going to shortcut up these stairs and go this way, and ka-tunk. And then there was just a team of people cruising around looking at the chipped concrete that they were going to have to replace, and they're assessing the damage of that didn't work out. Remember that episode was supposed to be in Razors and Can-Ams and like that kind of stuff anyway, right?
Okay, we at some point mentioned this, but at the core of it, we would throw ideas out that we could do on Top Gear, and sometimes because it was half BBC and half history, there was a big process, and we got to do a lot of them. Like the paintball guns on cars was really fun. Adam and I did. There was a bunch of them, but we pitched multiple times that we could go to Arizona where you can drive. Like I was in Lake Havasu last week, and people there, it's like a motorcycle tag on the back of a Polaris, and you can go anywhere you want. You can go to trails, the lake, wherever. And we thought, let's go spend a week there and see what life would be like. And they literally told us, they're like, yeah, I don't think these are going to catch on. I think this is a fad. People aren't interested. By the way, largest growing automotive segment for like the last half a century are side by side.
They can't even build them fast enough.
No, they can't. And you know how much fun they are to go thrash. The one thing that we should mention, though, the way that they released the information on these Broncos and sold all of the first kind of batch of them, every one that they're going to build is already sold for the first year. That's impressive. I've not seen that kind of a hype for something in the automotive world in a long, long time. I think that's going to be real cool. But as we know, proof's in the pudding. They look neat. We've seen 2, or they had 3, right, that they rolled out as the official ones. Again, Vaughn Gittin Jr. goes out and makes it look cool. I believe it. The pictures look cool, but I do want to see how they hold up. Because to your point, Tanner, a side-by-side, I know what those cost, and the 4-door Polaris, like what I can get my family in, is still a lot less than one of these Broncos, and it's still a ton of fun. So, to me, you got to figure out, does it drive good on the street? They obviously look cool, but are they cool? Do they really hold up, and can you go thrash on them?
Yeah. A lot of these things, they've got some cool tech in them, like the removable sway bars and, all this tech, because historically, the better off-road the thing was, the worse on-road it was, and vice versa. So you got to have some fancy tech in there, unlocking diffs and a lot of automated stuff, even some active suspension stuff to be able to be good at both. So when you're on the dirt, you can have the thing completely loose and goose. And then when you're on the pavement, you can have it stiffen up a bit. But so that's the kind of thing you don't get with the older ones for sure, or the Polaris, frankly. What I loved about the idea of doing that Polaris show is that, if you have an Arizona plate on something and you come out to LA, you got 10 days to put a California plate on it. So we could go rip around LA legally with an Arizona plate.
Yeah, I want to see you explain that to the arresting officer. We got 10 days, officer. Sure.
Yeah, it's only day 8, my friend.
You'll spend 2 of them in jail, and then you got to put your tag on your car.
Maybe.
I thought you when I read this. I thought of you when I read this. You know what the name of the packages you can get with the new Bronco? The Sasquatch package.
You thought of Rutledge.
No, I thought of you yelling at Rutledge.
It's just because I know the Sasquatch call.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously know the Sasquatch call because I watched the show about
Finding Sasquatch.
Yeah, and where
spoiler alert, if anybody's been watching, they've not found him yet. Or
what? Yeah, but it does. You know,
I know
they do.
Every show they find a Squatchy. They are like,
is that Squatchy sensor?
Yeah, they're like it is a little squatchy around here, Dave. Oh yeah, it's squatchy for sure. And then one of them goes, ah! Just like that.
Oh,
Rutledge, what did that make your feet tingle?
My hair just went up. I was like, what?
Did it? Okay.
What?
I think there's two types of Squatch calls.
Yeah.
That was the louder of the two.
Okay. You know who has the original Bronco? Or who had the original Bronco, the first one they made? Carroll Shelby.
Oh.
They gave it to Shelby after they made it. He used it as a ranch truck. It's got I saw it. It's got bullet holes in it. It's just like he's just driving it around his farm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do like that they took that design, because like when Camaros came back, they went with the the first gen Camaro, and I always liked the second gen, the 71.
Yep.
So I'm very pleased that the Bronco they went with that body stock, because that is.
Before we wrap it up here, do you think that there are new designs coming down the road? Because to your point, it certainly seems like everything's a retro flashback and some modern version of it, which I love, and it harkens back to this, and it's nostalgia and its brand. It shows the DNA of the brand and this and that. But sometimes they're so close and to the original that it's almost not even an original car. It's not like a new car. Do you think there are just from bone scratch designs left out there in these kind of niche worlds like off-road or high performance?
Well, there's a Gumpert. It's ugly, but it's original.
They only sold like 6, though.
That could be reasonable.
Right.
I don't know how much.
You're saying, Cobra Kai is out. All of these other movies are getting redone. Is there anything original? I do think there is. I just think it's interesting. Each time something new that's funky and different comes out, the kicker is so many of us end up crapping on them because we're like, what do you do with a Via Cross?
Shoot, it's so safe. It's so safe to go kind of retro, isn't it? Even in TV shows.
But I mean, if you look at, let's pick a Toyota FJ Cruiser, right? They quit making it, I think, in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
I think it's we had one of the last ones on the show, one of the trail rated. Those have insanely high resale value because it's still a Toyota. It makes people think about the old FJ40s, except it's way safer, gets better fuel mileage, more power, and they're still awesome off-road. So maybe you're right.
I can't see out of them.
Can you see out of anything anymore, though?
That's true. Can you see out of that?
That is certainly an original truck.
Yes, it is. It's not. Pythagoreus came up with that design. It's called the Triangle.
What's the right name? Not the mega truck, the Tesla. Didn't they have a Cybertruck? First off, thank God that they do press conferences the way they do, so we could watch him smash a bulletproof window with a hammer, and it shattered. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there that love sniffing Elon's farts. I'm not one of those people. I don't dislike the guy either. I just think anytime someone asks me about a Tesla, I was just like, yeah, I get that they sell cars. They're not a car company. They might be manufacturing those, but that has nothing to do with what they're trying to do. To me, my understanding, it's battery packs. It's, it's all this long-term stuff in the future. There's no way that ugly dumb truck is going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen like that. That's too stupid for me to think it makes sense.
The thing that I appreciate about this and about Tesla in general, I won't probably ever have one, but I appreciate that he pushes the boundaries because he's not really got his hands tied behind his back by the inefficiencies of an entire half country of employees. And so he's able to kind of do things under the radar and be kind of more mobile in coming up with ideas, good or bad. And so I like the fact that he spit this out on the world and the world has to react to it rather than always just being, 2% different than the previous version. I think it's hideous and I don't want it, but I still like the concept, and I think it's important to shake the tree like that.
I think Elon Musk sounds like a man's cologne.
Wouldn't that be great?
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
But it's electric cologne.
Oogie, oogie, oogie.
Ow!
It's like a little force field you wear.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to driving the Bronco when it comes out. I want to thank you guys for being here on Speedy Beardy and the Mole. I'm Adam Ferrara.
I'm Robert Wood.
Nope, second place. Sorry.
And we'll see you next time.